Welcome to Right on Track, a songwriting podcast. Thanks to Tone for tuning in. I'm Demi Michelle Schwartz, and I'm thrilled you're joining me on my songwriting journey. So kick back and relax, don't fall flat, and remember, stay right on track. Hey everyone, welcome back to Right on Track. I am super excited because joining me today from across the pond is Nicola Harris. Hey Nicola.
Hello. Thank you for having me.
Of course, I'm so excited to have you. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. I've been to the gym, took my stresses out at going to the gym. I love going to the gym.
Well, I'm so excited you're joining me today. We're going to chat all about songwriting, performing, your new single, and so much more. But before we get into specifics, can you share with the listeners a little about yourself and how you got started in music?
Well, I mean, I've always loved music. My parents love music. And I literally started dancing as soon as I could walk. So I've always had the passion as soon as I've heard music. It's like, I've got to dance. And then my brother, he was in a band, he was in the school band. And I remember waiting with my mum for his rehearsals to finish. And I was there thinking, oh, I'm so bored. And I was only 6 at the time, and, one of the girls, she couldn't do the show at the weekend. So I think the, teacher was a little bit annoyed when she announced that, so he sort of asked anybody else if they knew the song. So I was kind of looking around at everybody thinking, "Well, I do." Mum's going, "Put your hand down, Nicola, stop being stupid." And I'm like, "Well, I know the song." And they're like, "No, you don't." I'm like, "I do." So they gave me the microphone and, humoured me, and I sang my little heart out. So I kind of started at 6 years old really singing.
That is fantastic. What a great story. So, since then, you've had quite a journey. You've had the opportunity to perform alongside many incredible artists and had some great opportunities. So, what are some of your favorite highlights so far?
Favorite highlights? I think it was when I was asked to do a festival, and Rag& and Bone Man, they were on it, and Texas, who I love Texas. I love her voice. Trying to think, UB40, I did a private party, for somebody's 60th, and it was someone's back garden. They had this massive marquee, and they just then, "Oh, just to let you know, Ali Campbell's on as well." I was like, "What?" I'm like, "UB40, they're on just before you, and then you're gonna come on afterwards." I was like, "Okay, brilliant." And then the next year they had Elkie Brooks, and then they had me on as well. So I've been lucky enough to sort of share the stage and that with quite a lot of, sort of really nice people. Go West, they were another one. I love Go West. And they're just and backstage as well, the guys, they're just really nice people. So I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of nice people. So that's probably, and I don't know if you know over there, but there's a famous footballer. Unfortunately, he died, and I was asked to sing at his funeral, and all of the Nottingham football players of that era were all there, and his wife and everything. So that was an incredible sort of experience. Not a obviously great sort of an occasion, although they made it very sort of festive, like more of an upbeat sort of in memory of him. They didn't want it to be sad. So that was an incredible thing to be asked to do as well.
That's absolutely fantastic. So many great stories. So, you've had quite a journey with performing and a couple interesting experiences with songwriting as we were talking about before we started recording. So, can you share a little about your journey beginning with performing and doing cover songs, transitioning into songwriting, and some reasons why you held off on continuing your own journey with songwriting until recently in 2019?
I've always, like I said, I've always sort of been a dancer, and I've been a dancer that's been able to sing. So, I think I just literally I went off to stage school in London. I got a grant, because my parents could never have afforded to have sent me to London to train there. So I got heavily more into singing, whilst I was there, and started sort of believing in my voice. Although, like, I sung when I was little, I was always a bit like, "Oh, I'm a dancer that can sing." And then my first job that I was ever offered, was a singer's job, and I was like, "Well, can I still dance then?" And they were like, "Yeah, yeah, you can do what you want as long as you sing the songs. I was like, "Oh, okay then. That sounds like a cool job." And I've never stopped. I've always been in shows. I've always been performing. People say to me, "What other jobs have you ever done?" And I'm like, I haven't. This has been my absolute living. I've never made money doing anything else. All I've ever done is sing and perform. So because I always say lucky and blessed. I never take it for granted. I've just been really lucky in work that I've always been in work. I've always been, the phone's always gone. It's like, Nick, can you be in this show? Or Nicola, we've got a gig for you here. So I've not had the time properly to be able to sit down and write songs. Although I kind of did a little bit more sort of in sort of early 20s, but I was only really sort of playing with it a bit. I've always known that I could write songs, but again, I'm one of those people that needs people to say, "That's really good," because I'm not a very good self-believer. Um, I'd written a few songs and I'd actually sent one off to the X Factor in 2012, and they got back to me straight away because I I didn't have to queue up with everybody else because I'd heard that people were just sending in songs, and because I'd sent them my own song, I was like, "Oh, brilliant. They must be sort of." I knew that they were having a change where they were letting people sing their own songs, and I thought, "This is it. This is it." I wasn't one of those that thinks, "Oh, I'm gonna win it." I just thought I wanted that platform, and if it didn't go any further than the first round, I thought at least, I'd have got one of my own songs out there. But, unfortunately, for the months and months that I was there with them, as soon as it was 3 minutes before me to walk out on stage to see the judges, they literally pulled the rug from under me and went, "I'm sorry, but you can't sing your own song." And basically, they wanted me to go out as Lady Gaga, and that's my day job. I'm a tribute act, and that's how I pay my bills. That's how I make my money. I'm a Lady Gaga tribute. I'm a Shania Twain tribute, Madonna, and Amy Winehouse, and I change my voices for all these people, and I dress, I mimic them. I change my voice when like I'm Amy Winehouse and stuff like that, and then when I'm Gaga, I have to put on that little sort of gruffness in my voice. So that's how I've made my money. And they literally sort of ripped the rug from under me and they went, "No, we really want you to go out as Lady Gaga." And I'm like, "I'm here to sing my own song. I thought that's what you wanted." And to be honest with you, it was so soul destroying and what they'd done. I just thought that I just felt like they'd made a fool of me. And I thought, I'm never gonna write another song. But until 2019, then it all changed again for me and I started believing.
Wow, that is such a very emotional story, and I really appreciate you opening up about that because I think there are so many things that go on with shows like The X Factor and here The Voice, American Idol, and stuff that aren't really spoken about. And just hearing about something like that where you were ready to walk out there for the judges, excited to sing your own song, and then before it's like, oh, wait, no, you can't do this anymore. We want you to be something else, be Lady Gaga. Like, don't be yourself in this moment. And that must have been really hard, especially because before you mentioned, having some struggles with believing in yourself. That definitely I can understand, making that self-belief challenge even worse. So, how was it for you to move on from that situation and heal from that in order to find your voice as a songwriter again?
Yeah, I mean, it was soul destroying because before I walked out and I was on stage, I had to sort of put my foot down and said, "Look, I'm not going out as Lady Gaga, but I'll sing a," because like you always have like songs in lieu, sort of spare songs, and I sang a song called "Tell It to My Heart" by Taylor Dane, which let me be able to sort of sing and dance a bit. But you could clearly tell that the judges weren't lined up with their questioning to ask me. They were all geared up to ask me about Lady Gaga, but I put my foot down and said no. But inside, I was so emotional, and I felt like I was attacked by them. Um, and it was awful because when I watched the live show, they'd had Gary Barlow say that I was annoying, and actually at the audition, he never actually said that to my face. I mean, I don't know if they edited it in before or afterwards, or but they got what they wanted, and I thought, "He never said that to me." So for 10 years, people that didn't know me would come up to gigs and go, "Oh, Gary Barlow, he said you were annoying." I'm like, "Actually, no, he didn't." It was put on afterwards, and I'd had to live with that for 10 years. And I almost gave up singing, I mean, performing, not just writing. I almost gave up completely performing because my heart was broken, because they made me feel like everything I'd done in my life was just worthless. But I went to the Long Road Festival that we have over here in the UK, and it is absolutely amazing. So many artists want to get on it. And we bring loads of people from the States over, they do. And when I went, it was I was lucky enough to be there with Kit Moore. I mean, I wasn't performing. I mean, he was. I just went obviously as a guest because I'd heard about one of our own homegrown over here, Twinny, and I've sort of followed her, and she's just so enthusiastic. She's upbeat, and she just kind of reminded me of young. And I just thought, I want that back. And I went to go and watch her, and I just thought, she's everything that I felt that I'd lost. And I thought, she's still doing it. And I thought, she's been untouched, by you know, the X Factor. But I mean, I don't know, like, she might have struggled, but I thought she's still doing it. She's going out there, and it just made me stronger. And there were so many great artists, and I just thought, this is it. This is where I live. I love people's stories in country, and I thought, do you know what? I've got a story to tell. So I went home that week. I sat down, I wrote a song, sent it off to my local BBC radio, and they played it, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then this year, through writing more and more, and my local BBC sort of, believing in me, they actually invited me to the Long Road Festival this year to sing my songs on the BBC introducing stage, which was like the biggest thing. That is probably my highlight. When you ask me highlight, that's probably the highlight for me. I was like, "Oh my gosh." I've got like there was so many great artists there. Shy Carter was there. Um, just massive people like singing just round the corner on another stage from me, and I was like, "I'm in it. I'm here." And I'm like, "I'm gonna make the most of it." And everybody there's just so, so nice.
Wow, that's incredible. I'm so glad that you had those experiences that kind of restored your confidence in yourself because I think art and like our songwriting and our voices and when we perform our music, that's so personal to us. So anytime it feels like somebody is literally doing a personal attack or whatever, it hits really personal. And I think it's incredible how you were able to find your voice again and find your passion for what you're doing again and got those incredible opportunities because I think I haven't had an extreme situation where I felt like my confidence was shattered, but like when I started, it was really hard to feel confident in myself and believe in myself because, watching so many other artists have opportunities you want and watching their dreams coming true. It's easy to get caught up in wondering if you'll ever get that. And I think once I started to get some of my biggest highlights, especially this year, it's like, oh, wait, this is where I'm meant to be. Like, people do believe in me. And I think once you start to get those moments of belief from other people, it fuels your fire and then makes you believe that you can do anything and that you belong. So I think that's incredible. And while you were talking, you mentioned country music, which is a perfect segue into another question I have for you. You've definitely had experience singing other genres, speaking about Lady Gaga and pop music and all of that. But why for you is country the genre you feel like you belong in as a songwriter?
Um, I my mum and dad, they've always listened to well, we listen to all, but country just seems to be the place where it brings us all together. My whole family, we all really listen to lyrics, and my husband just totally does not. And I'm like, what are you listening to then when you're listening to a song? Because I just can't get how people can let a song go over their head and go, "That was good." And I go, "Do you know what it was about?" And they go, "No." And I'm like, "Listen, listen. How can you not listen to the lyrics?" And country music for me, I mean, I absolutely adored Doctor Hook when I was younger. And anything that's, a bit more I don't know, sensual. I love sort of sensual country, the Eagles and things like that. Um, and just something that's got real passion. And I just think country music's got absolute passion. And unfortunately, in between sort of X Factor and 2019, I lost a child, and I can't have children, and I was devastated. I mean, that was more devastating than anything in my whole world. Um, and I knew I had to write a song. I've still not released it yet. I've still not found the right time, but it's called My Baby's Got Wings. But it's songwriting for me, it's like a heal. It healed me. I mean, oh gosh, I cried buckets whilst I was writing it, and it was worse even trying to record the song. But it is a healer, and it's a healer for other people. And I just think if I can get my story out there, there's other people that are feeling this, the same way. They've been through the same thing as me. And if I can try and show that it is a horrible place, you go to a dark place, but there is light out there. I'm never saying you're going to get over not being able to have children, but you can certainly learn to cope better. And it's not the end. So if I can try and help others, I will. And that's how I think country music does. I think country music really helps other people.
Thank you so much for opening up about that as well. And I completely agree with you that the lyrics are what matter. I think even when I was only doing pop music, I do pop and country now, and I try to do a lot of blending of the genres. But even before that, when I had my favorite pop songs, yes, the beat's great, great groove, the vibe's awesome, cool melody, catchy. But I was always the one who was listening for what the lyrics were about. And a lot of my friends just were dancing at school dances with the vibe, not really knowing what the songs were about. And so I completely agree with you that the lyrics and the storytelling in the songs is what it makes music so beautiful. Because I think the cool thing and the most beautiful thing about songs is that you can basically say stories and on the news and just like in writing and just speaking to somebody, but when you add the musical content to that, that's what brings the stories to life. I think you have a story, you have a concept, you have this emotion, and you make musical choices, production choices to tell that story and paint those lyrics the best way you can. So I, like you, am very focused on lyrics as well. And I think that you turning to songwriting for healing and to process things is what so many of us do. That's why I started. Before I even considered being an artist and releasing my music, I started songwriting because I was going through things, and just talking to somebody wasn't working for me. Journaling, a normal diary, that didn't work for me either. It was the songs that did it for me. And so I completely agree with you.
Yeah, it is. It's that I've always had a diary, but it's kind of like it just seems pointless sticking it in a diary and not sharing it with somebody else. And I've always been one of those not outspoken as in I say things that I shouldn't say in front of people. I mean, I'm quite open with emotions of I mean, I could sit on a bus and say, "Oh, that's really this has happened, that's happened," to a stranger. But whereas I would struggle sometimes to tell my family. So I'd rather write it down and push a note under the door and say, "This is how I'm feeling right now." But now I can do it in a song and say, which is how you came about. It's kinda like I struggle with telling my feelings to close people. So I think, I'll write it in a song, you can listen to it, and I'll just go in the other room while you're listening, and hopefully this'll get through to you because it doesn't get through to you when I'm trying to talk to you because sometimes there's too much tension in trying to talk, and it can end up being an argument. So I just think sometimes a song when, lovers sort of fall out and they'll go, "Right, here's a song, I want you to listen to that because that's how I'm feeling. I'm just gonna walk out the room."
That's so funny. I literally have the biggest smile on my face because I'm the same way. I think, like, I even get nervous when my family listens to my songs because they are so vulnerable. I rather strangers across the world listen, but it is easier. I think songs can capture things that speaking alone can't. And so I think just speaking to someone, like, I find it difficult for me to communicate my emotions sometimes. Like, I'm a little more closed off and I keep to myself, but a song has it all. There's my story. This is the emotion. I mean, that's all that I need to communicate, and it says so much. And the other amazing thing is that because the way we write these songs, they're personal, but they also have universal themes and concepts. Anybody else can connect and see themselves in your song, take what they need, and hopefully find healing on their own. And so I think songwriting is one of the most beautiful arts, and I'm blessed that I'm able to do it and that you are as well, and that you found that passion again after all that you've been through. So, there's another thing I wanted to chat with you about, which is your new single that hit number one. Talk about it.
Oh gosh, it was a pinch me moment, because, like I say, I had an argument with my husband one night, and he was sort of kind of saying, "Oh, you're made of ice, you've got no emotions." I'm like, "I so have." It's just, I struggle if I don't feel that I'm getting the right emotions. I struggle to show emotion. I have to be given a lot of love to I need to receive a lot of love for me to give a lot of love, and the bloke has to make I'm so old-fashioned. The guy has to make the first move. I will never make the first move. I just took myself off to my bedroom and I thought, "Right, I'm going to go and write a song because I'm feeling sad, angry, and everything, and I'll let you know how I feel." And that's how it came about, and it flowed and it came so quick. And just sort of through the process over the couple of years, a gentleman called Tim Protty Jones just kept popping up, and I'm thinking, "Oh, he's good." And then I found out he's a producer, not just a singer and a musician and everything. So I thought, "Oh," and it took me ages. All day I kept thinking, "Right, I'm going to message him, I'm going to message him." But then I think, "No, I'll wash the pots first." And then I think, "Right, I'll message him now." And then I think, "No, no, I'll wash my hair." And then, "Oh, I'll just sort out this cupboard." And I kept putting it off thinking because I didn't want him to, like, read my message and go, "Who the hell's this? What's this demo?" So I was, like, putting it off, and eventually I did, and he got back to me really quick saying, "Yeah, yeah, that's what I do, I can do that. Send it over to me." So then again, the next day it was like, I'll send it now. In a minute, I'll have a coffee." So eventually, I sent it, and then, like, again, he got back so quick saying, "Oh, this is brilliant. I can't wait to work on this." I was like, "Oh my god," I've been, like, nervous all day because I can't play a musical instrument, and I literally use a chord, it's like an app on my iPad that's got chords on it, so it's like, so so I have to, like, program it into my laptop, into GarageBand, and then I sang over the top of it and I put the harmonies over. So that was my demo. So he got the melody and my voice, and then obviously he created this amazing track to the demo that I sent him. And then he said to me, "Oh, it's a duet then." I'm like, "Yeah." And I went, "Yeah, I don't know anybody in country." I says, "Can you recommend anybody to sing it with me?" And he just said, "Oh, I met this really nice guy at the weekend called Preston." And I was like, "Oh, right, cool." And he says, "Get in contact with him." So of course I had the whole drama again of like, do I send it? What do I do? And I listened to his voice and I thought, God, I love his voice because he's got that rock edge, which I really wanted, which is Tim knew what sort of style I was going for. It was kind of country rock because I said sort of try sort of Carrie Underwood, black Cadillacs meets sort of Kit Moore, sort of Def Leppard style, 80s style. And he was like, right, go with Preston. I was like, okay. And Preston, literally, I sent him a message and in 10 minutes he listened to the demo, got back to me and he went, love it. I'm on it. I'm like, why do I get so nervous? But it's because, I'm still in that process of like, am I doing the right thing? Am I any good at this? And that's how it sort of all came about. And I couldn't be happier. In fact, Preston sort of did a little joke on me on the night of release because I'd actually confessed to him that when I first distributed the song out to everywhere, to Spotify and to iTunes, it was only by default that I was sending an email to somebody, but I sent it to myself because I just wanted to see what the appearance looked like. I wanted to make sure the music was playing right. I played the music And I was like, "Oh my god, where's my voice?" Preston's was on there, the harmonies were on there, but I wasn't on there, and I went, "Oh my god, this is the one I've sent out for distribution." So I had to, like, get it back and delete it and send that. It was the backing track that I'd asked him to do for me, so if I'm gigging on my own, at least I've got Preston's voice there and the harmonies, but I couldn't believe I'd sent that one, and I felt a little bit sick for 2 days and kept kind of almost nervous laughing, thinking, "Had I not done that on the day of release, it wouldn't have had my voice on it."
I would have been freaking out.
I was, and then Preston, he phones me at 11:30 because he managed to see it before me. He went, "Well, congratulations, you're number 1." And I went, "What?" And he went, "Yep." He says, "But you've got no voice on it." I was like, "No." And he went, "No, it's there." And I was like, "Oh my god." And then I just started crying. I was like, "Oh my god, don't do that to me." Because he knew about what had happened. And he went, "Yeah, your voice isn't on it though." And then he phoned me back in half an hour and went, "Nicola, you're at number 38 on the official charts." I was like, "What? I'm in the top 40 of the official charts." And he went, "Yeah." I was like, "Oh my gosh." I mean, I wasn't there for very long, but just to get there was just like, oh my gosh, screenshot, screenshot.
That's so incredible. How was it like for you to see the success with this song after everything you've been through?
I've cried a lot, and you know what? I am still pinching myself because I'm still like, is it a bit of a joke? Has someone just screenshotted something out there and it's not real? So I'm still absorbing it at the moment, if I'm being absolutely honest. And but it's nice because I've obviously got other songs out there, but to be honest with you, I didn't really know anything about distribution. Really, I didn't know about pre-saves. I'm really very much a one man band woman on my own. I'm not really in the industry to know about this side of things because being an entertainer all my life, you know, it's just a different world. And I've like really come to the bottom of something brand new and I didn't know how to do it. So just through sort of asking questions, and I really struggle to ask questions and I really struggle to ask for help. I've been given some great advice by really, in releasing you. So and Preston's been amazing, and just everyone is so nice in country. Um, and I'm still pinching myself, and that's the God's honest truth. I'm still a bit like, "Is it real? Has it happened? Is it out there?" But sort of getting the feedback's just been, it's blown me away. And I literally, the day that Tim sent me the master, I was in the car on my own, and I had to stop my car because I just started crying. I went, "This is the most proudest thing I've ever done in my life." And it just kind of washed the feelings of how X Factor had made me feel for so many years away and made me think, I do count. And in a way, oh God, I'm gonna cry. They made me feel a little bit, made me feel a bit stupid and worthless. And with this song, it's kind of made me feel whole again.
Oh, well, congratulations. I'm so proud of you. You deserve everything with this track. And I can definitely hear the emotion in your voice. And I think, like, after everything, it's so hard to move on from those things and heal from those things. But the fact that you were able to do that and release such an incredible song that has already found so much success and have a great future ahead of you with your music is incredible. So, congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me on as well. It's been really nice chatting to you. It's nice chatting to a fellow female as well, with the same emotions, and like you've obviously been through things as well. And it has been a long, hard slog, and dark days, but happy. I mean, I'm really normally I'm a positive person because after spending my life entertaining other people and making others happy in whatever form, I've been so used to hiding my own feelings and getting out on stage, even on the worst days, putting a smile on and be like, "Come on, everybody, let's have a dance, let's do this." And as with my Amy Winehouse, I'm a stand-up comedian as well, so I'm so used to having to think on my feet and funny things. So I've just been so used to blocking my feelings. So being able to now put them into songs it's just been amazing. And just this song for me, because of not being able to have children, um, I I kept thinking there didn't seem much point to what I've done because everybody, like, saves stuff to show children when they get old and go, "Oh, mummy did this, mummy did that," and I thought, "I've got all these things that I've done and nothing to show to anybody." That at least I mean, I paid extra, to have you put on the charts, not on the charts, I mean, to stay on music platforms when I've long, long gone. So I just felt like I needed to leave something, and I feel like I've left something behind, when that day comes, and it's just given me it it's just given me, comfort that I can leave something, and now you is something that I can leave. Um, and I don't think people who have children, don't think they quite understand what it's like to be someone who's living and doesn't have children. And that's why I think some ladies will really relate, obviously, to My Baby's Got Wings. Um, and so it's one of those pinch me moments that I feel like I've completed a lot of stuff with this one song, and it's given me a lot of comfort.
Yeah, I can definitely tell. So, congratulations again. Thank you so much for being so vulnerable and sharing your story. Before we go, I just wanted to ask you to share any advice you have for any aspiring songwriters or artists listening who may be struggling with self confidence.
Yeah, it's easy for me to say, just believe in yourself. Listen to the people that are most closest to you. I know you sometimes think, oh, you're just saying it because, you know, I'm your daughter or I'm your wife or your partner, but true people that are right near you will never let you make a fool of yourself. And they will always I mean, my my close friends will always tell me the God's honest truth, which I'm really lucky. So let them believe in you to give you that strength to carry on. And do you know what? If it doesn't turn out, it doesn't mean that what you did was wrong. It just meant that you weren't the flavor for that month. And it's like as much as sort of X Factor went sort of wrong for me, on the actual show it went right for others. I obviously just wasn't you know, their flavor at the time. It doesn't mean I'm not gonna be somebody else's flavor, if you know what I mean. It's like, so just keep going and find your audience because we don't all like the same things. We don't all like the same things on a Sunday dinner, but it doesn't mean that it's bad. Just because somebody doesn't like your style of something doesn't mean that you're not good. It's just it's not to their liking, and you just need to carry on and find those people and those genuine people that dig what you do.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. You're so, so inspiring. It was an honor having you on the show. Can you share with everyone where they can find you on social and listen to your music?
You can find me on TikTok doing some crazy stuff, Facebook and on Instagram, and it's all at Nicola Marie. It's not Nicola Marie, Nicola Harris official. It's because we've been talking about X Factor. That's my stage name. Nicola Harris official on TikTok, Facebook, and on Instagram, and I'm Nicola Harris on Spotify, iTunes. Everything's Nicola Harris, really. So you can find me on there, and on YouTube with some of the videos to my songs beforehand. But I've got a new one. I just filmed the video for you last Wednesday, so I'm just looking forward to getting that back soon. So it's just being edited.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much again for joining me. It was an honor having you for such a very authentic conversation. Listeners, I hope you enjoyed this episode with Nicola Harris. And of course, until next time,
Stay
stay right
right on
on
track.
track.